Either you give us grandchildren or we're taking you off our will. My fiancé and I have been in a relationship for the past 10 years and just recently got engaged. While it's understandable that 10 years might sound a bit too much, we started dating really early and getting married was not a priority for either of us. We actually preferred to focus on our studies and career for a while. She's a civil engineer and I'm a medical student after getting a bachelor's and a master's. I do freelancing as a developer to pay for my living expenses. As we have been a couple for a long time, it is quite common for people to ask us when we're getting married and when we're having kids. While we are getting married as soon as I finish med school. We decided not to have children a long time ago, and we're still very certain of that decision, as both of us are more career than family oriented. However, since the engagement, our families have started to put more pressure on us to get married soon and have children, even though we told them plenty of times that's not gonna happen. My fiancé and I live together and we're completely independent from our families financially. Some time ago during a video chat we ended up getting into a heated argument with our families for finally snapping at their ceaseless nagging for grandchildren, and we have been strained ever since. Now our families asked us to meet them for lunch in family, at my parents' house. We don't live in the same city, but it's close enough that we can go there for something like this, and that's when the following situation transpired. We arrived early enough to help out in preparing everything for the lunch, and for the next hour or so, things were pretty alright. But after we had lunch and we sat at the coffee table to chat, it's customary here, the room got visibly tense. Our parents, both hers and mine, started a speech about how much they put into us, how much they worked for us and how much family means to them. I was already sensing some shitty thing coming, but I kept listening. Suddenly they said that during one of their talks they came to a decision, that if my fiancé and I didn't give them grandchildren after all they had done for us, we would be cut out of their wills. Their reasoning was this. 1. My brother is a gay man and as of now has no intention of adopting or any alternative to have children, and I was the only option on continuing the family. He was not there and is as mortified as I am. 2. She is the oldest sister. Her younger sister is still in high school, and thus, must set an example by having a family and continuing the family. Now if that's not psychotic, I have no clue what is. We quickly looked between ourselves and immediately left their house. We haven't spoken to them since, but as far as we are aware, we're disowned by now. I never thought I would have to go through that just because I don't want to have children. But it just shows how much entitlement they think they have. Edit. My fiancé and I have absolutely no interest in their inheritance. We've been fine on our own for a long time and we can take care of ourselves. Thus, we have absolutely no intention of contesting their will. We don't need that money and we don't want it. I only posted this here due to the absurdity of their actions. We have decided to cut contact with them and uninvited them from our wedding. My brother is giving us full support on this, and as he is my best man, this already means the world to me. It's regrettable that it came to this outcome, but we are not going to let them run our lives. Some people asked us why we don't want to have kids. There's a few reasons for that, especially the fact that we are both extremely focused on our careers. Having a child is a responsibility to raise someone and give them the affection, lessons, and time needed. Neither of us want to go through that just to birth someone. Also, we firmly believe that the world already has enough people without us putting someone else on it. Lastly, neither of us really likes kids, as bad as that might sound. We have no intention of ever giving birth to a child. Update. Anyhow, they struck again and my fiancé is really fuming with rage now and wants to share the situation with you all. There are some points that will need clarification and I'll try to make them along the way. First, as we mentioned in our last post, due to the absurdity of the situation our parents were imposing on us, we felt that we did not want them at our wedding. Thus, we rescinded their invitation as a whole. My brother is my best man and he supports us wholeheartedly. Now we get to the point of the post. After we left my parents' home that day, we had absolutely zero contact with them. They made their decision and we made ours. We thought that was going to be it. Now, one thing that needs to be clarified. Our wedding was planned to be happening on October 17th. However, due to the pandemic outbreak, these large gatherings of people were completely prohibited, in my region at least. But thankfully the venue we had acquired is run by the most lovely administrators. As soon as the outbreak started, they contacted us and gave us every assistance needed with rescheduling. Thus, we rescheduled our wedding to 2021 in the same month. As the situation is still uncertain, that can change but shouldn't for the time being. We aren't really bothered by it as we understand the situation is very dire and we don't mind waiting for a time when everyone will be safe, possibly. This morning while I was studying for some exams I'll be having at school, my fiancé got a call from the venue administrator, asking why we wanted to cancel our wedding. Obviously that was very strange and confusing to us. My fiancé let them know that we had no desire to cancel our wedding and further asked what that was about. Apparently, my fiancé's parents called the venue on our behalf, telling them that we no longer wanted to rent the place as we would no longer be getting married. Now, let me explain why the venue was leaning on accepting this situation. In my country, our IDs carry not only our ID and social security equivalent number, but also the name of the parents. And to rent a venue you need to provide your ID for them as a bureaucracy requirement. I don't know if that's how it works everywhere, so I wanted to make it clear. Apparently, they wanted to take advantage of that fact and tried to dupe the venue to cancel our wedding. Luckily, the administrator is quite smart and saw that on our sheet, needed for rental, there are only 2 name numbers for contact if we can't be reached. One is my brother and the other is my fiancé's best friend. At the time we booked the place we were already in a strained relationship with our parents, so neither of us put them in contact. Thankfully, the administrator actually paid attention to that and took the care and time to reach out to us. Otherwise we might not only lose our special date, but also all our deposits in dream venues. I'll be honest and say that I never expected that kind of behavior from anyone in our families. But alas, it seems I was wrong. Anyhow, now my fiancé is letting out fumes and I'm trying to calm her down. We already sent a contact to her parents, and mine as we are sure they are in this together, for them to never try to meddle in our lives again. My brother is as angry as we are and he just told me he was heading to their house to tear them a new one. I don't even know how to feel right now. I'm crestfallen if anything. I never expected or wanted things to be this way. But neither of us will go back on our decision of not having children. Truth be told, I already have the papers for sterilization ready. I just hope that one day they do see that their entitlement just lost them their son and daughter. All because of grandchildren that will never exist. Edit. We just spent the whole afternoon calling all our services making sure to create methods so this never happens again. It's taken care of and thank you all for the advice. I don't really know what my brother told them as he went from there to his work. I did get a text from them complaining that we released our rabid dog on them, which is amusing to be honest, as my brother is a very calm person. We won't contact them again. Once more thank you all for the kind words. To edit. We are really thankful for all the replies. We did decide on passwords with all our contracts and shouldn't have any further problems. But on that note, for those who asked, our parents didn't give us a dime to pay for our wedding. We worked ourselves and paid for every little thing. They have absolutely no right over it. I did mention this in the previous post, we don't want their money, neither do we need it. We're just sharing and venting out frustration. Relevant comments. OP's response to them. Comment. You keep saying to our parents? Is it both sets of parents or just your fiancés? Or are you also brother and sister, which makes this story become even crazier? OP. Yeah, this one I should answer personally. I meant both sets of parents. While her parents called the venue, mine were also involved. OP on him and his fiancée being cut from the will. Hey there. Just saw the notice and actually wanted to reply here. As we mentioned, we never wanted our parents' money even if they did keep us on their will. On my part, we would probably donate it to charity. On my fiancé's part, she would give it all to her sister. We don't need it, neither does my brother. We didn't cut them because of the will. We cut them because they are trying to control our lives. That is not something we will accept. Just to clear things up, we support ourselves and we've been fine ever since leaving our parents' home. We paid for everything with our own money as we work from even before leaving their house to college. Also, education in my country is tax funded, so we don't have debts nor do we need to pay for it at all. I understand your point of view and just wanted to clear things up. The inheritance was never the reason our relationship was strained, and it wasn't the reason for us to cut them out of our lives.